Hello, this is Problem Machine back with some more Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So you'll probably notice right away that I have this sword following me. I found the sword familiar, which was in a different place than I remembered, obviously, since it wasn't where I looked. It turned out it was in a very similar place that was in Orox's quarters. It was like a breakable ceiling, just like in the Colosseum, but in a completely different place. So I found it eventually. That's good. I also found a bunch of other stuff when I wanted to get the rune sword, which I have here, and I wanted to get the dark shield, which is actually quite a bit less interesting, but yeah, let's take a look at it. It looks cool. I mean, it looks like they basically just took the iron shield and blackened it, which is kind of boring on its by itself, but then they make it flash like this and have the lightning cross it. I think it's the only shield in the game that has an animated texture, so it's actually quite cool. And it does not a ton of damage, but a little bit of damage every time I touch something with it. It's cooler than it is effective, but it also has an extremely neat shield rod attack, which I can test out real quick out here. Let's wait for her to open up. And it does this dark attack that kind of fucks guys up. So that's pretty cool. Even though I don't use the shield rod much generally. Though I'm curious what it does with some of these other shields I've got. Just out of, I don't know, what was the goddess shield? I think the shaman shield is just intelligence up. Yep. And goddess shield. Is that a heal or protection from dark? That's not very interesting or useful either. Anyway, and then I got what is probably my favorite sword in the game, is the rune sword, which is basically just like the heaven sword but faster, with a little bit of a different attack animation, and it costs you even more defense for some reason. And I really like the texture here on the trail it leaves. It has a little bit of writing on it. I can't read it. It might just say QWERTY or something. But it's I really like the look of it. I like the sound it makes, and it's a pretty good sword too. And I can use it together with the Heaven Sword for some double sorting action. And I also got a really interesting one. The Terminus Est isn't very interesting. I don't think it has anything special about it, though the description is cool. But I got the Sword of Dawn, which is a two-handed sword, which, pretty good by itself. But then it also has, what is the motion? Yeah. You can use it to just summon these guys. Let's try these out on somebody. Perhaps not actually very effective, but pretty cool anyway. Is there a back and forth motion? No. So just, ooh. Yeah. Anyway, let's not die here. Let's switch to the Rune Sword and the Heaven Sword and move on to the caves. Man, I'm taking a lot of damage. Probably because I'm using two swords that reduce my defense. And what is my armor too? I'm using the Alucard Mail again. Using the Barrel Circlet, which decreases my intelligence. Or, sorry, increases my intelligence at the cost of defense. This is one of my favorite things. There are only a few games that have upside down water like this, or floating water, which this one doesn't have, but Kirby does. Kirby Superstar, I know for sure, has blocks of floating water, and it's something I always love in games when they just give no shits about realism in that particular way. Like, I love that the way this reverse Castle manifests is by having, like, they just flip it upside down and just keep the water like that. I wonder if it took any special programming to make the water work even like that. Like, probably not if they knew they were going to do it, but it would be easy to program water in such a way, like make assumptions about how it was going to function that would preclude that possibility. These guys are... I really like these guys too. Just spraying ink everywhere. It would be cool if they'd had an upside-down ferryman or something. Just to continue in the vein of weird, surreal, upside-down things for the upside-down castle, which I think is reversed horizontally as well as vertically, which my brain, for whatever reason, is having a very hard time wrapping itself around that idea. But, you know, the outer tower is on the right side for the normal castle, and it's on the left side of this castle. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's flipped in both dimensions. But that just, like I said, my brain has a very hard time with that for some reason. It's just, anytime I try to draw that thread through the place, I just completely... I mean, I obviously haven't come to terms with it, but it took me a while to actually, like, understand that spatial relationship. Possibly just because I've been playing this game for so long. So, this is the Game Breaker, or Game Breaker 1. It just makes your shield do the maximum damage, and it heals you. So you can just walk through enemies now. If I wanted to, I could just do the whole game this way. And in fact, this is how speedruns tend to do it. Because, you know, I had this equipment during the intro sequence, and there's a trick to let you keep it after the intro sequence. So all they do is they do that trick, play through until they get the shield rod, and then they have it made. Let's maybe smash through here. Ooh, neat. What is this? Good damage. It does terrible things to my defense. Is that just because it takes these off, or oops, equip? I tried to do a Dark Souls style and press X on it. That doesn't work. So, no, it even cost me 10 defense beyond that. So what does this do that's supposed to be worth it? Well, that's unimpressive. That's pretty cool, though. Oh, and it has a back and forth attack, too. That one doesn't cost any NP. Nor does that one. Let's use this for a little bit. See how it works. I do recall that you can kind of chain that teleport attack and beat fairly tough enemies that way, even though, you know, obviously the defense cost is a concern. Is this just the same one as in the normal castle? That's the bat pentagram. Ooh, another new sword. The Zweihander, one of my favorite swords in Dark Souls. The damage is not as amazing as you'd think. No special there. Oh, interesting. Let's see if that hits multiple times. Doesn't really seem like it, does it? Okay, well, let's go back to the Rune Sword, Heaven Sword combo. Oops. Rune Sword, Heaven Sword combo. There we go. Oh, and another Zweihander. Unfortunately, I can't dual wield those or anything. Let's see. Okay, and that puts me down into the catacombs. Let's just go down into the catacombs. Or up into the catacombs, as the case may be. It's a dead end, so I can just... Okay, now I'm very certain that they do a bunch of palette shifting or tinting, because this was like bright gold in the original catacombs, and it's very subdued comparatively now. Due to the way sort of scaling works with levels in this game, these guys, at the point where you fight them here, are just completely irrelevant. There's two bosses in this direction, as I recall. There's Death, and then there's like a big optional boss all the way where Legion was before, who is probably the hardest boss in the game, but also you just kind of have to cheese because his attacks aren't dodgeable normally. Like, he has attacks that just covers the entire horizontal of the screen. You can turn into mist to dodge them, but you're eventually going to run out of MP doing that. I guess you could spam items, but yeah.
You've made it this far. In the name of your father, cease this foolishness.
Not while there's a breath in my body.
Then for the master, I'll feast on your soul this night.
He's got another phase. It's also pretty easy. That does pretty good damage, though. Okay, let's try not to die. There we go. And I think I'm just one away from having all of the relics of that. So it's that. Luck plus 10. Excellent. I like luck. Oh, and I gotta pull out my demon to hit this switch. This is probably the last time we'll be seeing the demon. Look, it's a switch.
This switch hasn't been pressed yet.
Well observed. Back in your box. Now here they use the same music that they used in the normal castle. Which makes sense. I mean, there's nothing more appropriate for this area. It's odd that they, as I mentioned before, all of the other areas in the reverse castle have reverse castle music. But, which seems a little bit unnecessary. This is where the peanuts were before. We'll call it the Peanut Gallery. Even though I already called it Dracula's Break Room. Call it whichever you prefer. Oh, lots of bats. See, that one's already broken too. I guess I'm probably not going to use either of those. Whatever. Okay, and that gives me the complete Alucard set, I believe. I can't quite recall if that's all of the equipment you start the game with. I can't remember what the second optional item is. I know that one is the talisman. Okay. Unlocked that transport room. Really, I still think of this so much, and I'm going to say it again. I think of it in Dark Souls terms, where honestly, in this game, like opening up a transportation room like that, it doesn't matter unless, like, because when I leave here, I'm gonna go through there probably. Like, but you know, best to be sure, just in case I choose to take a different route. But it's not like in Dark Souls where I could just like go a completely different direction, and opening up the shortcut is of super paramount importance. And Dracula sure keeps a lot of pictures of himself around. Conceited much? Actually, I just wanted to look at something here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was going up that smoothly, because I was kind of wondering if maybe they used some kind of pixel collision detection due to some of the things I was seeing in the playback. But, well, I mean, on these slopes, it was very obvious that that was a direct one-to-one slope that was not matching the sprite, so I'm still curious about how they do some of the specific collisions. I'll get more into that as I get back to the clock gallery section. I forget what the actual name of the area is, but I was noticing some curious things about the slopes there. That's a 1-to-1 and a 2-to-1, it looks like. Maybe this is a 3-to-1 right here. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? This place has its own music, I think. I don't think this is used anywhere else. It's pretty cool. If it got a chance to play. These shields are pretty difficult to deal with. So this is where that cat eye circlet works. Like, I can put that on here. Put it on here. Yep. What a weird item. Come on, cast the spell. Now, I can't remember what all is this way. You know, I usually don't go much for like really suspenseful sounding stuff like this in games. It ends up mostly just being annoying to me, but this works alright. Wow. Okay. Okay, it does stop eventually. It's a bit worrying. Okay. Yeah. Let's not have you doing that again. Okay, Spike Breaker on. I can't remember what's through here in this version of the castle, but may as well find out. I didn't notice all the Iron Maidens in the background before either. It must be very frustrating when nobody can use your torture chamber because somebody's filled it with spikes. It's like, you know, I appreciate your enthusiasm for the subject matter, but you're not helping. Okay, let's harvest a little bit more health. There we go. Oops. Okay. Wasn't sure if there was something there or not. You could only really see one pixel of it. I think these palette swap blood skeletons respawn quite a bit faster than the red ones. They look a lot less bloody though. The name starts making a lot less sense. I mean, those ones just kind of look like skeletons. Well, that's boring. See? That goes through your MP pretty quickly. Satisfying, though. It's just... I never really noticed that you do run more slowly up slopes than you do normally on flat terrain. Careful. Oh, I still have Spike Breaker on. Okay. I thought that I'd taken it off. Let's do that now. I also picked up Dark Armor, which is not very good at this stage of the game. You know, I guess Evil Defense is probably one of the more useful types, considering most of the people in this castle are at the very least Turks, if not necessarily evil. But, you know, at this point it just has so little defense, it just doesn't matter. Potions. Oh god, there's so many. That's the other starting equipment. Now I remember. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. Where is it? Necklace of J. Defense +5. Not a bad little bonus, but not going to be using it. Oh man, that's weird. Look at this crazy palette swap, where they took the lava room and turned it into a weird, like, green crystal room. I love what you can do with palette swaps. It feels like kind of a lost art now. So I didn't even notice this room on the other side. This is pretty cool. I want to compare it now. Is this another Necklace of J? Yep. Welcome to J's Necklaces. We got necklaces for every occasion. They're all the same necklace, but you can wear them anywhere. Nobody will mind. I mean, they really shouldn't be making those sorts of decisions about your necklaces anyway. It's your body. Wear the necklaces you want on it. And this room is just as disappointing in the reverse castle as it is in the normal one. Some things stay reassuringly the same. Okay, boss time. I kind of think this guy might have a bunch of lightning attacks, and I have something that heals lightning damage, so let's see if that's the case. Oh, okay. Well, that's not a lightning attack. Looks like one, but I guess it's not. I guess only my crits do damage. Oh boy, do they do damage. So this is an exciting fight, isn't it? Really full of suspense. I mean, I was thinking about switching my weapon to something that did more damage, but honestly, like, actually, you know what I could do? Oops, not that one. Let's put on the Iron Fist and try that out. Oh, didn't realize that one interrupted it. So this guy has kind of a lot of HP too. So this is going to take a while, I guess. You know, as I said, this game isn't really the epitome of balanced boss fights. I mean, I'd try and do this a more interesting way, but if I did, I'd probably just die, so sorry. God, that's so much HP. Well, this is kind of taking forever. Can't really do much about that. I guess I could use my sub-weapon too. May as well. You know, just speed things up just a little bit. Yep. Oops. Maybe that's a dark attack. It looks very shiny for a dark attack. Oh, I missed him with it. Oh, he took a step forward. Oh, fucker. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's a lot that I love about this game. The boss fights don't happen to be one of the things I love about this game. What level is my sword man? Just 9. It's pretty unimpressive, isn't it? good for this one? Ruby circlet. And this lets me turn into poison gas, which is cool. It's not as useful as you'd think, mostly because it takes so much MP to stay in gas form. Okay. Well, I suppose that's pretty good. Fire damage being, I think, one of the more common types. Unfortunately, I just gotta leave the long way. Takes a little while. Wolf form is handy for situations like this, though. And just gonna drop down here, and we're basically out of here. I'm not even gonna bother saving, since I'm just popping right over to the transport room. Am I? Actually, no, I'm just gonna continue on through the caves. That's one way to climb down, anyway. Actually, yeah, I can keep on going. I mean, really, in this balance of things, these guys are actually less annoying than the fire lighting guys that were there on the other castle. I've had enough of your slug resin gaibons. I've had enough of these disingenuous assertions. I can't remember the actual line. Okay. Oh, it's another plant lady. These plant ladies scare me. They're basically just the nastiest enemy in the whole reverse castle, I think. Oh no, wait, the gold knights are the nastiest. These are probably the second nastiest, though. Oop, another Zweihander. Wish it was good, but it's not. Oh well. Little streams of water flowing upside down. I think that effect is different in this castle. I remember it being a more, like, slow pixel flow before. Maybe I'm misremembering. Could be thinking of the fountain effects, which are a little bit different. Did they get rid of the foreground streams, though? I don't think I've seen them, and I think I would have commented on those. Let's see. Maybe they did. That's nice. I like that flowing uphill there. I mean, basically, I'm just a sucker for weird shit that doesn't actually make much sense in games like these. Let's go through here. Because the thing is, games try so hard to be representative in ways that make no sense. Like, if you... It's the uncanny valley, you know? If you try to represent reality, you're only going to get caught up short in all the ways that you can't. Okay, there. That's how you swim. It's the backdash button. I knew you could swim as the dog. So, you know, if there's one message I'd have to designers, and I don't know if it's hypocritical or the exact opposite of that for me to be saying it, since I tend to fixate on making things consistent, it's that, you know, things are always going to be an abstraction in games. Don't worry about making everything make perfect sense or be perfectly consistent, or and especially realistic. There's no... It's like, if you're really going for realism, the best you can manage is something that's functionally identical to the reality we live in, which isn't actually that interesting when you think about it, because we live there. Like, if reality was that interesting, we wouldn't be playing video games. And, you know, I'm being a little bit glib there by sort of merging the ideas of realism in depiction and realism in storytelling, which are different things, and realism in control mechanisms, and these are all different. But, you know, I think there's still lessons to be learned from the futility of trying to achieve realism in one format. The same is often true in other formats as well, to varying degrees. Oh, hey, there's a boss here, I forgot. Let's not make him feel cornered. Yeah, whenever he feels cornered, he'll wing smash you. This is kind of a boring fight too, isn't it? Hope I don't die. If I seem to be getting close, I'll use a healing item. These do no damage, but they keep on knocking me into his bat range. Okay, there we go. And refills my HP, so unless there's a nasty boss just up ahead. I don't think there is even another boss down here. Like the snake lady that gave me trouble before. I could be wrong. I've certainly misremembered plenty in this playthrough. Oh, I did remember there were a shitload of these guys. Okay, I need to get to a safe spot before I can... This room always just lags the shit out of the game. And looks crazy doing it. Oh. I already said that these enemies are ridiculous. I don't know, I want to look at the death animation a little bit more. Looks like there's a separate pulley for the head that they just fold down, and then they pull the... I don't know, maybe the tentacles are separate sprites. Because it looks like they kind of collapse together in a, like not quite just the sprite scaling smaller kind of way. It's a really good death animation, though. Dark Blade. Dark Blade. Sword. Ooh, good damage. It's the best damage I've seen so far, I think. Maybe even more than the Alucard sword. Quite a bit more. Weird. So what's... Is there anything unusual about this? It also boosts my defense. Crazy. So does it do anything special? Doesn't seem to. It seems to just be a really good sword is all. Now let's use it for a bit. It's kind of slow, which is why I'm not going to use it more. Ooh, actually, let's switch the Alucard sword for a bit. And let's put it in this hand. I can put a rune sword in this hand. Now what's cool about this is I can do like this, or no, sorry, this. But I can't throw it while I'm doing that, so that's not as cool as I thought it would be. Oh well, I'll use it for a little bit. Here, I guess that must be just a save room. Okay, well I'm almost done, but I'm not going to save here and quit. I'm going to go down to where the succubus is and see what's there, since that's very easy to get to when gravity is on your side. See? And that's right, I have a normal sword for a little bit. Hard to get used to. I kind of want this, actually. See, Alucard sword, even though the other sword has quite a bit more damage, and it gives you a little defense bonus too, I think, this one just attacks so quickly. It really is a good sword. Like, you know, a lot of the Alucard equipment, it's basically all, like, kind of second best in the game. Like, it's really good endgame equipment without being, like, incredible. It's just good. Oops. Well, that was odd. At least I didn't get poisoned. All these little spores poison you, and I think the main body does as well. I got meal tickets here last time. These just give you... I think they just, when you use them, they generate any food item. Okay, so this is where the succubus is. And there's just peanuts in there. Just peanuts. Oh well. Okay, and that'll do it for this episode. And in the next one, I will go back down through the tower and the library and pretty much clear out the castle, I think. I think one more episode will be enough to basically do everything there is left to do. Except for, well, you know, we'll see how far we get. I'll probably not quite finish it, but get real close. Anyway, I will see you then, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I will see you then, as I just said. Goodbye.